Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk with the Titans, live from London, UK, all the way to the US of A and worldwide. I'm your host, Kalam, and this is Talk with the Titans. On tonight's show, we've got the most beloved and honorable brother, Lord Abba, in the building. Peace, Islam to you more.
Islam, beloved. Hey, how are you?
I'm well, man. I'm happy to actually have you back on the show again. I think you're one of the most top-ranking individuals who's actually been on the show. I think you've been on a few times. You know, you're saying to me earlier on that, you know what, you was raring to come back on Talk with the Titans. What's happening? I'm off my sabbatical now, so hopefully we're going to get much more of these shows popping. Trust me on this. All right. So you know what? We've had our brother Shakka Ahmose, issuing some spectacular claims about Islam, about the Moors, about Noble Drew Ali. So you know what? I just want to get this in right about now. I want to clear up any misunderstandings there may be. Or, we can get some more enlightenment coming from both ways. So we're going to actually open up the lines in about an hour's time. So if anybody would actually like to phone in and have words with Lord Abba, you are more than happy to do so. We're actually going to be welcoming people on the panel as well. So we definitely want to get a 2, 3, 4, 5-way conversation going after this presentation. I know Lord Abba, you've got a presentation in store for us. So can you give us a little, intro on your presentation before you start to go in?
Yes, Islam. First, I want to say that I rise giving all praise to Allah, the highest of honors to His holy and divine Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I extend those honors to the harbinger and forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. I extend honors to all true and divine prophets. I extend honors to all freedom fighters and leaders that were sent to us in the West. And I extend honors to each and every last one of you, for when man honors man, he honors his father, God, Allah. Islam. Well, the brother Shakka made a bunch of erroneous claims. House of Konsciousness, TV, and, anybody that wants to get on Sarnetta's TV and make whatever claims they want to make against the Moors, Sarnetta is going to open up the door for them. And traditionally, a lot of Moorish American Muslims have sat back, said nothing, the same old repeated lines. Why y'all got to debate? Just do the work. Well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke about defending him and defending this movement if we have love for Allah. He said, watch your enemies, dear Moors. These are the ones who will ridicule your prophet to the very lowest. These are the ones who will speak against the divine principles of your temples. And, this is why this new generation of Moors, these new Moors that Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke of are here now. We're not going to keep letting that ride. These people are our enemies. These people like Shakka Ahmose, they're not just enemies to the Moors, they are enemies to progress. They are enemies to progressive thought. And so this presentation is going to touch on some of the claims that this brother made about, the Jesus issue. Are we trapped in religion? Did Allah come from the Alla of Babylon? We're just going to dig into some of the things that the claims that this brother made on the House of Consciousness television show, reality TV show, if you will, from that Sarnetta produces, and clear the air, hopefully once and for all. But it seems as if, a lot of people, they want to believe a lot of this nonsense. So, hey, it is what it is. But we're going to address it, and we're probably not going to directly address people anymore. We're going to more stick to just teaching. So whenever we hear this stuff, we're just going to put out all of the counter information to, just knock it down, because it's getting superfluous, it's getting redundant, and we're making moves. Each and every last one of us, we're starting to grow our movement, build up our communities, and it's just getting ridiculous at this point.
I know. You know what? Everybody's been talking about this Allah, A-L-L-A claim that Shakka Ahmose is talking about, the Mesopotamian, or should I say the Sumerian deity, versus Allah, A-L-L-A-H. the Arabic Islamic deity. So you know what, I want to get into this. I want to actually get into this.
Okay,
I know
beautiful.
a lot of people definitely want to hear this information. Before I actually do this, I need to let everybody know who may be new to Talk with the Titans, what Talk with the Titans is all about. Talk with the Titans was literally birthed out of the idea that the intellectual giants, the titans of our community, should have a well-organized platform to present, discuss, and debate critical information affecting our community, proposed by you, our audience members, our community. So you've been proposing, you know what, why aren't the Moors talking back? Why aren't the Moors responding? So finally, we're actually going to get a response from the Moors. Finally, the Moors is going to actually respond to the, you know, the tremendous claims that Shakka Ahmose has been issuing out, delivering, giving a barrage of, you know, low blows. So one may seem to think, but we're going to actually see, because we're going to get this all cleared up today. I can't wait. I can't actually wait. Again, please, everybody who is in the talk room right now, if you've got any questions or comments, please just type them away down below. I'm going to be reading them whilst the show is going on live. So if you've got any questions mid-flow of Brother Lord Abba's presentation, I'm definitely going to try to stop him for your questions to be asked. As well, please hit the share button down below. Hit the share button down below and let all your friends know that Lord Abba is going in. The Moors are responding. The Moors are striking back. All right, so this is going to be a powerful show, and I'm also going to try to get Shakka Ahmose on the line as well, and I know you're not going to love that, so I'm going to try. When the presentation is over and finished with, I'm going to phone my brother Shakka Ahmose up and see what he actually has to say as well. So this is going to be a really good show. You know, please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I don't know why you're not subscribed, but we're going to go into this presentation right now. Should I hit the presentation, or did you want to talk about something before?
Let me get into something real quick, and then we'll get into the presentation. You know, I want this attack, and let me just also give a shout out to Brother Tahaka Bey and all of the brothers that did just do a response a few days ago to Brother Shakka Ahmose. You know, shout out to those Moors that did that on Moorish World TV, I believe it's called. Excuse me if I'm not citing it right. But Brother Tahaka Bey, you know, he's doing an excellent job with his channel as well. Brothers like from the Amin Ra squad has been on a tear ever since April 10th. He just cannot stop. His Afrocentric sensibilities they went haywire. And one of the things that people like and Shaka and all of these guys employ is confirmation bias. You see, somebody like will selectively seek out sources that confirms his view. For instance, he will cite Afrocentric sources that state that the Moors came in and ransacked Timbuktu and Shanghai. And if the book that he is reading from cites several of other sources, well, especially sources that say that same thing, he will buy every last one of those books and hold them up to his audience and makes it appear as if there's a wealth of value, or excuse me, a wealth or volumes of information saying the same thing, not telling the people that I've read other works and really I'm just repeating the lie. But I can't let Lord Abba and I can't let the Moors, you know, the Moorish Science Temple of America, I can't let Islam win at all. So I'm going to keep lying to people, because we can pull up several sources that totally debunk the claims that the Moors sacked Timbuktu and Shanghai or ancient Ghana proper. The origin of these myths was started by racist converts to Islam who were seeking to diminish the greatness of the Moorish progenitors of Islam while they were setting themselves up to take over the religion politically. Wesley Muhammad touches on this deceptive ulema that he speaks about. They took over and usurped the religion. And there's a prophecy with Prophet Muhammad allegedly that he had a dream that one day the white sheep was going to take or overtake the black sheep, meaning right now there was a lot of black sheep in Islam, but when he had the dream, but it was of foreseeing into the future that there was a time where this particular religion was going to be whitewashed, if you will, and that's what's going on. Now, these people, right, like Ankh and Shakka and Sarnetta, they blame everybody for everything that we're going through. And they never offer any solutions, and we're going to get into that, you know, as this particular presentation goes along. We sit there and we listen to these men curse and scream and shout and do all of this crazy talk, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, where is the intellectualism in that? When you look up the word cognitive dissonance, for instance, we see that people that suffer from cognitive dissonance, they hold truth, two conflicting sets of views. Shakka, even people like Polite, all atheists that they claim. Atheism is a Greek school of thought. And I got to start this particular show off with this because I need people to understand who they're following. The man with one eye, basically. A bunch of blind people following somebody that just spews articulate ignorance. Now, the crescent moon and star is the religious symbol of Islam. The Christian cross is the religious symbol of Christianity. The Ankh is the religious symbol of ancient Egypt. Why would you call yourself Ankh? Why? Why would you call yourself after the religious symbol of our ancient ancestors? It makes no sense. You're a self-admitted atheist. Brother Polite, he has a YouTube video. And I'm not putting Polite in the same category as most of these guys. But I'm going to speak on the fact that, you know, he has a video up. It's garnered millions of views on Facebook. He's calling himself an atheist. Well, your name that you call yourself is Amun Re Sin Atum Re, which breaks down to mean Amun Re, brother of Atum Re. These are the names of gods in ancient Egypt that was worshipped by the people that worship and practice rather the religion of that day. So how, I don't understand, how are you against religion? Even if we look at Shakka and we look at the name Ahmose. Ahmose comes from the transliterated Ams from the Egyptian. And it just means he who's born of Ea, the moon god. This moon god had his own cult center in ancient Egypt. These were the gods of ancient Egypt. The people that worship these gods practiced religion according to the definition that we have today. So the people that follow these people are leading people astray. They don't even peep the cognitive dissonance. They don't peep the fact that they themselves are blind and being led by blind men themselves. And so these things must be addressed. And this brings us to where we're at. So if you want, you can pull up the presentation and we can go from there, beloved.
All right, I'm going to get this presentation up and running. Give me a hot second. Here we go.
Okay, we gave honors to the prophet. We're going to jump into the next slide. Now, this is Albert Pike, 33rd degree Freemason. And I don't cite that because he's the boogeyman, but the rumor is that he infiltrated the Freemasonic Lodge to implement some of the ideas that he wanted to implement. But there was an alleged letter that he wrote to a man named Mazzini, August 15, 1871. And it states, "We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists. We shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in all its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism and the origin of savagery and the most bloody turmoil." Now I want you to go to the next slide. The next slide gives us a definition of a nihilist, nihilism, which is the rejection of all religious and moral principles, often in the belief that life is meaningless. And the synonyms are skepticism, negativity, cynicism, and pessimism. Look at the mind frame of the people that call themselves the conscious community. They are nihilists. They have no religious principles. Shakka gets up to do a presentation and he's talking about sucking on other men's testicles and sucking on the penises of others. You more sucking the penises. Like this, you have no moral compass. And yet you want people to follow you and follow your line of logic because you purport to be an intellectual, which you're not. You're an untutored brute. And we're going to prove that today. Now, let's go to the next slide. Because we want to get into this Allah claim and Allah coming from this Alla, A-L-L-A. Can you go up? Yeah, right there, right there. Yeah, go up to the screenshot, beloved, of that home page. Right there. Okay, this is a man, this is a man, Theodore Shobat, also called Walid Shobat, I believe. He was a Christian convert. An Islamic convert into Christianity. This is the man who Shakka is citing within his article. Notice the oldest reference to Allah. Brother Ishmael Allah from the Moorish Amin Ra squad, he had to break off from that fraud and his hate, coined the term microwave scholarship. This is what this brother Shakka employed when he dug up this research, and we're going to prove it. Go to the next slide, beloved. Now, on the website, right? On the website, we see the text. And in the text, I'm going to read. I have it highlighted on my end. The highlights are not coming up on that end. It says, new research shows that linking Allah, being worshipped as a deity, can be found in the epic of the Atrahasis. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm getting a message saying people can't see the slides on their end, brother Kalam.
Is it possible
I'm able to see it on my screen.
Yeah, is it possible for you to share it on your screen?
Oh, sure. Okay, but how would I do it?
Simply go onto the top left of your screen. There is another tab, another set of tab. There's a blue one and a green one. And the green one says screen share. If you click on the screen share, you'll be able to share your screen. And it will give you an option of the different screens you can share. There you go.
Okay, now let's get into this. Let's get into it. Now, we're looking at Shakka's claims that he made and everything that he got from this particular website. And we're going to prove this. We're going to prove this. Now, it says that linking Allah, being worshipped as a deity, can be found in the epic of the Atrahasis, chiseled on several tablets dating around 1700 BC. Well, we know that Shakka brought up the Atrahasis. It goes on to state, what would shock historians and theologians alike is that this much older reference to the literal name of the deity Allah was never even linked by any of the experts on Assyriology who have written on the subject or any of the translators of the Atrahasis epic. Now remember, Shakka Ahmose made it appear that he was the one. Remember, he said, I'm not just into Egyptology. Y'all don't know. I do this too. I deal with the Babylonian text too. No, you don't, beloved. You're a fraud, a phony. In this particular website that we pulled up the very same day the video dropped and laughed at you, shows and proves this.
Brother, could you go back to the screenshot of the website because it wasn't showing prior. So
okay, this is the website, everybody. This is the website, showbot.com. this guy is a Christian. All of these people that Shakka, that they rely on, all of these Afrocentric, anti-Islamic haters, they rely on Christian information. Why would you call the Christian your enemy, then use his information to come at us, especially after Wesley Muhammad has proven that the origins of what we know as Mohammedanism or Islam today was founded by our people? Why would you do that if you were not deceptive? If you were not liars? If you were not just seeking to keep our people deaf, dumb, and blind? Now, let's continue. Remember Shaka's presentation, and he talked about Allah being this God of violence and revolution. He got it from this website. I'm going to read the highlighted portion that states, but soon revolt of the gods had erupted, and one deity of violence and revolution, named Allah, spelled by the experts as A-L-L-A, as the following inscription recounts. Remember, anybody that watched Shaka's presentation watched him read this. It says, then Allah made his voice heard and spoke to the gods, his brothers. Come, let us carry Enlil, the counselor of God, the warrior, from his dwelling. Now cry battle. Let us mix fight with battle. The gods listened to his speech, set fire to their tools, put aside their spades for fire, their loads for the fire god, they flared up. This is what Shaka cited. He didn't say he got it from this website. Notice right next to it there's a footnote number 3. So on that particular website, this website right here, the oldest reference to Allah, you all can look this up for yourself. When we look at footnote number 3, we see who it is. After Hassi's tablet, it gives you the breakdown, translation by Stephanie Daly in her Myths from Mesopotamia, page 10. Now, Shaka in his video made it appear as if he researched into Stephanie Daly himself, that he got her books. He threw up her credentials on the screen. He used sleight of hand and trickery to fool you all into believing that he is a real scholar and that he went and dug up this information. No, he went right here to the footnote, looked her up, created a page on his PowerPoint to make it appear, found her credentials, made it appear as if he himself looked these things up. You're a fraud, beloved. But let us continue. On the website, he says, what is also amazing is that no expert on Assyriology or Sumerology had even suspected that Allah had a connection with the Arabian Allah. Remember, Shaka made the claim that he was the one that made this connection. Y'all don't know that he was just reading verbatim off of memory what he got from this website. It goes on to state now, I checked the work of Farkild Jacobson, a foremost authority on Mesopotamian history. And while he writes some aspects of Allah, A-L-L-A, he makes no connection with the Arabian Allah. Now, this same guy who did this website says that the foremost expert on Mesopotamian history has never made a connection between this A-L-L-A of Mesopotamian history and the Arabian Allah. I continue, or he continues, I even perused, peep this y'all, because he cited Stephanie Daly. He says, I even perused the dictionary of the translator, Stephanie Daly, to see if she could provide me with the significance behind the law. But the name of the deity was entirely absent from it. I could even find a definition for the word earth and for even obscure names or other gods such as Hurapil, Kaka, Gera, and Hahurnu. But yet not one explanation for Allah. She, speaking of Stephanie Daly, makes no connection between the Babylonian Allah, A-L-L-A, and the Arabian Allah, nor does she even speculate a connection. This is to show you all that this guy Shaka Ahmose is a fraud. He is a phony. And he was given a platform because these people, these nihilists, these atheists, these people that have no plan, these people that have nothing to look forward to other than getting in front of cameras and spewing off a bunch of 1,000-year-old history, which has nothing to do with our present condition if it cannot be applied to our present condition for the power struggle and structure that we need in this American society are just lame. And we have to call these enemies of ours what they are. They're lames. These are our enemies, beloved. Do not get it twisted. I'm drawing the line in the sand. Now,
brother, real quickly.
Let me read this part, brother.
Hold on.
And then
One second.
I want to give a little measure on that. And Brother Grimm, if you want to add in anything on this, please. But this is also from the website. This is short. It says,
okay, we just need you. Hold on, one second, Lord Abba. Your screen is stuck on your PowerPoint number 5. So we just want to see the sources that you was reading from. So I believe you was reading from your 7th page, but you haven't scrolled down to your 7th page yet.
I'm scrolling. Is it not moving on your end?
It's not moving on our end, no.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, let's see.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I believe it's on number 7 now. 6. You're on number 6, right?
Well, no, I'm on number 8 now.
Okay. So if you could just go back up to number 7 so everybody could just see where you just read from.
Okay, definitely, definitely.
So at least this is a record.
What do you see on your end? Can you see the whole PowerPoint presentation, or do you just see the slideshow? The widescreen slideshow?
We see the widescreen slideshow.
Okay. So we're on.
But that's fine.
Okay, so this is fine. Okay, cool. Can you see slide number 8 now?
Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So we went, for those of you that didn't see, I'm going to go back up. Source number 3, Stephanie Daly, in her Myths from Mesopotamia. This research was already done. Shakka Ahmose, you're a liar, beloved. You are a fraud and a liar. And I have to use these terms right now because we have to cross the line with these people, draw the line with these people, and let it be known that these people are lying to you all. They don't want you to do anything because they're not doing anything. This is the slide that I was just reading from, where the guy that made the website checked the works of the foremost authorities on this information. They made there cannot be found any other connection of Allah and this Allah outside of this guy. This then was picked up by dozens of other Christian polemics. These people are Christians that hate Islam, that don't want you and I to be a part of the religion that our forefathers founded. And this is the screen that I'm about to read. Can you see slide 8, brother? Kalam?
We can see it. Okay,
definitely. Now, to conclude, from this same website, the link is right there, the oldest reference to Allah, showbat.com. He says, and to those who accuse me of basing my conclusion that Allah or Allah is Allah on solely prejudice against Islam, I will present further evidence for my belief. This is this man's own belief. He tells you, and if you look him up, you'll see that he's a polemic against Islam. He converted from Islam to Christianity. The man stated that he was a terrorist and that he was involved in a bombing. His family members, people that knew him close, checked this man's claims and found him to be a liar. The investigators went to his family members to see if this man Shobat, Theodore Walid Shobat, was who he said he was, and he wasn't. So here we have the liar Shakka, given a platform by the hater, Sanetta, to espouse the lies of a man who hates the religion of billions of people. Come on, y'all. You can disagree with Islam. You can have your own contentions. But to let this man get up there and lie to you is ridiculous. All right, now let's get into this Jesus topic. But Kalam, if you had something to add on to that, Allah peace, definitely, come with it, beloved.
I'm gonna remain neutral. I'm gonna remain neutral. Um, this may be one of my specialities, but I'm gonna remain neutral and keep quiet and let you do what you have to do.
Definitely, definitely, beloved. Now,
is Islam more? If I could interject real quick,
please, bro.
And I just basically Islam. I just basically want to summarize what you were saying in a nutshell, because you provided a lot of facts to refute the claims of Shakka Ahmose in regards to the Allah of Sumeria being related to the Allah of Arabia, if you will. Now, with that being said, what Brother Wayel the Sheikh Wayel just laid out to you all is basically this. You have what is referred to as dishonest scholarship just because those individuals hate the Moors. What happened when the brother made reference to April 10th, if you don't know, there was a debate between a brother by the name of Sharif Nil Bey and a brother, I keep forgetting his brother's name. He got slaughtered in a debate so hard by, what is that brother? Brother Reggie.
Brother Reggie.
This debate was the nail in the coffin almost forever for anybody who basically had any doubts or any ideas that the Moors were some kind of detractors to the black race, quote unquote, if you will. So from the debate that Reggie just lost utterly, because Brother Netter never put up the entire debate, if you will. He only put up the selective parts that he wanted to. So what happened is the guy that they referred to as Unc, after that, they were so disappointed by this debate and losing this particular debate that they just keep coming on with the onslaught against Moorish Americans and by extension, the entire aspect of Islam, if you will. So with that being said, Wayel, my brother, just basically broke down the fact that this ALLA had absolutely nothing to do with the ALLAH, or Allah of the Muslims, the Holy Quran, or more properly of Arabia, if you will. And he used, I'm making a recap, this brother who always talking about Africa this, Africa that, motherland this, Kemet that, Egypt this, so on and so forth. Basically what this brother did was take and use biased, unscholarly work of somebody who was against Islam, if you will, to try to refute the claims of Allah. Now, I'll stop here and give you the last point. Now, everybody on this particular forum should know, if you don't know, right? Let's just hypothetically say that Allah, this ALLAH, came out of Sumeria, right? Let's just hypothetically say that. If it came out of that demonstration, right? Sumeria was an Afro-Asiatic civilization of African or quote-unquote Moorish people, if you will. So what does it matter if it came out of Sumeria? Because that only means that Allah came out of African civilization. So the whole point of him talking about Allah, if you will, coming out of Arabia becomes basically a moot point, because Amun Ra, Atum, all of that stuff came out of other earlier scripts in Kemet, or actually further down, going down the southern parts of the Nile, and these theologies evolved. Wouldn't we all agree with that? These Kemetic theologies evolved from the interior of Africa, if you will. So how could you go back and talk about Allah trying to make a disclaimer against the Moors or the Moorish American Muslims by talking about Allah, and you talking about another African civilization? So with that, I say peace.
Well said, well said. You know what, actually, what I would have loved to actually seen from our brother Shakka Ahmose, and hopefully maybe somebody on this panel can actually clarify and bring this up to us as well, is, you know, Shakka Ahmose claims that it's a Sumerian deity. Although, as far as I know, I'm aware of, it's actually an Akkadian deity, and it's the Akkadian version of a previous deity called Nagar in Sumeria. So I would have loved to have seen what was the meaning of the word Allah in the either Akkadian language or the Sumerian language, and is it a cognate to the Arabic language, the Arabic Allah? That would have been something good to actually prove. And also the history, the trail of how this deity, you know, the 3rd millennium BCE deity that literally dropped out of existence, how did it re-emerge itself within inside of, you know what, let's say, for argument's sake, Islamic period, the 6th, 7th century, how did it re-emerge? How did it get rebirthed and come back into a major religion, or being a major player in the whole game of deities? So that would have been really good. I would love to have seen that from our brother Shakka Ahmose. What other queries would I've loved to have seen in terms of evidence-wise? You know, because certain times I know our brothers bring forth these claims, and me personally, I love them. They're tantalizing, but I just want to see the evidence behind it. So, you know what, my brother Lord Abba, I would like to know, is there a etymological definition for the word Allah in the Arabic language, and is it at all synonymous or cognate with the Alla deity in Sumerian, and do the two actually share any commonalities at all, or are they two distinct different deities?
Well, one of the things that we did was we looked up if there were any other authorities that made this claim, and there were none. So it stopped us short right there, and we just laughed amongst each other, and we said, you know, this Sarnetta has a very large audience. Shaka knew that his claims were false. And he presented them anyway, with the attempt to try to destroy an organization, which you can't. Like, we deal with the facts. If you're dealing with Allah, right? Allah dates back to the ancient Canaanite tongue, and which you find in the Babylonian as well. Il, some may pronounce it L-A with an A-L, but it's kind of written with a diacritic and an L. And some may say il or al, and most Moorish Americans say L. Some Moorish Americans in the Midwest say il. They pronounce it as il. And the la comes from the way it was pronounced. So it wasn't just il, it was il. And over time, that il morphed. Wesley Muhammad did an excellent breakdown in his total deconstruction of another Afrocentric fraud by the name of Asa Imhotep. Wesley Muhammad wrote 2 papers that you can find on academia.edu. See, this is where the scholars and the researchers go. When they're looking for real information, they go where the scholars are. They don't pull up websites of polemicists that admit to being biased against a religion. And this is what we did. I just went and reread some of the great scholar, the great Islamic and theologian scholar Wesley Muhammad's work on this particular topic, and the etymology of Allah in no way connects with the etymology of A-L-L-A, at least from the perspective that any authority, which the person where Shaka got this information from, that website, had already noted. He was basically saying, hey, look, it sounds the same, I'm going to make it be the same, and I don't care what nobody says. And that's it.
I'm sorry, apologies. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. I want to get it in right about now. So yeah, you know what? I don't know if you're ready to continue with the presentation. Whether let us know actually in the comment section down below. Have we put the question of Allah being the Sumerian deity Allah
That's right.
to bed? Have we put that to bed? Have we demystified that? Have we debunked that particular theory that our brother Shakka Ahmose has proposed? I believe he is one of the only scholars, apart from a Christian apologetic, who actually put this forward. Nobody in academia has put this forward but
That's
these
right.
two individuals. So I don't know, has this been rest to bed? Please let us know in the comment section down below, because I definitely do want to hear from you guys. And if you want to have the link to come on live on air on Talk with the Titans, please email me. You can email me, but you can also message me on Facebook, which is Kalam SPEL. All the links and all that is in the description box down below. If you want to email me, it's in the description box down below. If you want to get a hold of me on Facebook, it's in the description box down below. So please check out, literally down below for further information. I can see my brother Shakka Ahmose has been, commenting on certain links on Facebook regarding this.
Don't
this
comment,
show.
Shakka.
So
get on the Talk with the Titans right now. Face me, if you real. Because Brother Kalam, I called in the end of one of the shows that they were doing, the second show. Yeah, y'all don't hear that on the video. It cuts off. But I call in and I confront Shakka about the things that he's teaching. And he doesn't want to talk. And then Sarnetta said, "Oh, Lord Abba, we got to go." Because they don't want to answer the questions. They just want to put on a show. I'm going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Who
right, let's go in. Let's go straight back into the presentation, and let's keep it flowing, my brother.
All right, definitely. Okay. Now, let's deal with this Jesus topic. I just want to know, can y'all see that? Can you see where it says, let's deal with this Jesus topic? Brother Kalam, can you see that on your slide?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. Now, Noble Drew Ali says, these secret lessons are for all those who love Jesus and desire to know about his life's works and teaching. This is from page 3 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, also called the Circle 7. Now, Shakka went to the 1800s and the 1700s to find sources. Another Christian source Shakka pulled up to say these people didn't love Jesus. These people didn't love Jesus. And my brother Grimmy Arnell can come in and cite some of the great Christian leaders that we had that fought against a lot of the racism and bigotry. These people did love Jesus. He was taught, the source that he was citing was only speaking about certain people in Georgia and South Carolina who had not adopted the religion of Christianity yet. Why? Because in states like Georgia and South Carolina, you still have Moors during this time who still professed the religion of Islam. This is an actual fact, and we're gonna pull some of that up. For Shakka to go back into the 1800s, knowing that Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to our people in 1913 and taught from 1913 to 1929, shows the depths of this man's deceptiveness, shows the depths that he will go to try to ruin people's minds by trying in vain, I should add, to ruin an organization. But the prophet didn't come at a time when the people in the South, who were still slaves at that time, didn't have Jesus or love Jesus or whatever the claim Shakka made. He came in a time where all of our people were predominantly Christian, 99% of them. So for this man to come and make this claim on Sarnetta's TV, it baffles me. It utterly baffles me. And it almost angers you to a degree. You could disagree with anything. People believe that Jesus didn't exist. And we're going to get into that, but that's fine. But to get on Sarnetta's TV and lie, and then know that you're lying, sitting there scheming and saying, I know that this doesn't match up, but the people are dumb. Listen to Shakka. He calls everybody dumb. He disrespects Brother Reggie. I'm not Reggie. I'm not Sarasuta Seti. I'm not any of these other people. So basically, he sits at home and feels that all of these people are dumb. They're going to believe anything I have to say. They're not even going to peep the sleight of hand that I'm employing in this particular presentation. And he sits there and laughs, and as we say in our lessons, hugs himself in his cunning. Deceiver. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into this. This is taken from a website called blackdemographics.com. The Black Church, according to the U.S. Religious Landscape survey conducted in 2007 by the Pew Research Center's Forum on Religion in Public Life, Black Americans are markedly more religious on a variety of measures than the U.S. population as a whole. We are a religious people. We've always been a religious people. There has never been a time in the history of our history that we were not a religious people. This is why Unc won't have me on his platform, because he can't answer these simple questions. You can read from 1,000 books, but when it comes to answering the simple questions that eat at the heart of what you believe in, you'll get destroyed in less than 20 seconds. Let me continue. It cited that 87% of blacks versus 83% of all Americans are affiliated with the religion. It also found that 79% of blacks versus 56% overall say that religion is very important in their lives. Here is a pie chart from that same website. There's the link there for all of you who can see it. You can pull up this link, see these things for yourself. We don't do microwave scholarship over here. We do real research and real scholarship over here. That big blue piece of the pie is your Baptist population. All the rest of this is dealing with the church, with the exception of you have atheists on this pie chart that represent 12%, I believe. That may have been on the website. But Muslims, however you want to say it, it's the same exact word. They only represent 1% in the African American quote-unquote religious experience. Now we have to ask ourselves, why? Why is it that the religion that we founded is only represented in the United States of America by 1% of our people here? And this is where the history becomes important, and we ultimately uncover the scheme by those who employ European psychology, whom you all call white supremacy, and those who choose to work for them. The next slide is a quote from Runoko Rashidi's Moors in Antiquity. And he states, because of his dark complexion and Islamic faith, the Moor became in Europe a symbol of guile, evil, and hate. This is why we disavow the use of the word black or black people, because this is what it means. Black means guile, evil, and hate. And so they called the Moor black, and the name black became cognate with the name Moor when there was an intermingling of Hellenistic thought and Yahwist thought during the times and the rules of Ptolemy dating back to 200 BC. And that lasted until 200 AD, when the Hellenistic frame of thought started to wane and the Christian thought started to prevail. You see, this is historical research that we're dealing with. Things that you can go back and tangibly touch. Nothing that's going to fall apart in your hand as soon as you touch it, like the Shakka Alla Sumerian or Akkadian piece compared to the Arabian or Canaanite Allah. Please. This man here, Theodore Lothrop Stoddard, he was an American historian, journalist, and eugenist, and also a political theorist. He had ties to Nazi Germany and its false superior race ideology. He wrote this book, The Threat Against White World Supremacy, The Rising Tide of Color. Now we have to understand. We have to understand this. This, at the time when this book was written in the 1930s, these Europeans are now trying to figure out, how do we keep our grip on the world? What y'all call white supremacy and what they call white supremacy, we merely call European psychology. Defeat or break out of the European psychological grip, you automatically defeat what you all call white supremacy. So let's read from his book. He says, concerning Islam's steady progress in Black Africa, there can be no shadow of a doubt. Every candid European observer tells the same story. Mohammedanism, says Sir Charles Eliot, can still give the natives a motive for animosity against Europeans. 20 years ago, another English observer, T.R. Threffel, wrote, the rapid spread of militant Mohammedanism among the tribes to the north of the equator is a serious factor in the fight for racial supremacy in Africa. Islam is as yet at that time unknown south of the Zambezi, but white men universally dread the possibility of its appearance. You see, they didn't fear the rise of Black Christian nationalism. They didn't fear the rise of those brothers who call themselves Hebrew Israelites today. And I'm not coming at you necessarily per se, because there's some good Hebrew Israelite brothers out there that I've built with. Some of these brothers I love. You know, I just think they have good hearts and good spirits. But these Europeans didn't fear that. They didn't fear that. They didn't fear the rise of Afrocentrism. They didn't fear the rise of people like Ankh and Sarah Sutanseti and Sa Netta and Shakka Ahmose and Reggie and the rest of these people. They feared the growth of Islam. And how do we know that? Because Elijah Muhammad, an image and likeness of Elijah Muhammad, was drafted up in a cartoon from a 1964 of Esquire magazine, and it depicted the late president of France, Charles de Gaulle, speaking to European world leaders, including someone named Moshe Dayan and others from Israel and other places, pointing to the honorable Elijah Muhammad and declaring, were it not for this man, we would have a glorious future. Which means that and I've taken this information from one of Dr. Wesley Muhammad's many blogs dealing with Islam versus quote-unquote white supremacy. Always, I'll give a shout out to our brother Dr. Wesley Muhammad, for he has opened up the doorway to Islam in a way that none of our scholars before us have done. In fact, I call him the preeminent scholar of Islam among us in this nation, period. Now,
Islam, or if I can interject,
please.
If I can interject real quick, beloved brother, in the good job you doing. So basically, you know what, the brother is recapping on the points that he made, and I just want to follow up on what he's saying. And as we talk about the history of Islam, if you will, in the world, and Islam is an outgrowth of African religion as well. Now, with that being said, we have all types of different Aboriginal, indigenous African religions. Now, with that being said, when you look at Islam and the spirit of Islam in Africa, yes, we know certain things happen. A lot of things happen with our people, but it was the spirit of Islam that caused one of the greatest slave rebellions in African history, and that was the slave rebellion that took place in Bahia, Brazil. And with that being said, those Muslim slaves caused a slave rebellion that was so hard and powerful that it raised up an Islamic state, if you will, in Brazil for a very long time and spread Islamic influence in Brazil. And this was the result of the spirit of Islam that was put in those people. And like the brother was saying about in his slide, in reference to the French president pointing to Elijah Muhammad, it has always been Islam that is the seed of consciousness in our people. And I don't want to take too much fire from what my brother is about to deliver to you all, but if you think about it, no one would be talking the way that they're talking, so spirited, so strengthful, so truthful, if it wasn't for the spirit of Islam teaching people how to talk like that. Because it wasn't these other different types of traditional faiths, if you will, that developed the spirit of rebellion, if you will, in the people. It was Islam. As a matter of fact, I live in one of the voodoo capitals of the United States of America. And I'm not putting down any religion, but those different types of aboriginal religions, as powerful as they were, a lot of that science that they had, some of those people voluntarily delivered that science into the hands of European people, and gave them medicine, gave them ways to spiritually combat their enemies and things of that nature. But it was Islam and the seed of the spirit of Islam that caused Moors all around the earth to begin to rebel against European oppression.
Facts. Rudolph Ware, who wrote the book The Walking Quran, he touches on this in his lecture. I mean, there's just so much. We killing these guys. And this is a shout out to Whenever you're ready, beloved, whenever you're ready to have this discussion, we can do it right here on Talk with the Titans. I'm pretty sure my brother Kalam does not mind at all. Bring your sources that say that Islam and the Moors ransacked West Africa, and watch how we embarrass you. All of you guys, every last one of you, bring your sources with you, and we're going to embarrass you, period. Because we have the counter sources, the proof, the real information that shows and proves that this is a historical fallacy. And you know it, because you read the other sides, you read the other arguments, you're a researcher. There's no way you did not come across this information. So at the end of the day, y'all can't win. Now, when we look at what I just cited about these Europeans, who do these people work for? Who do these people work for? Who? These Europeans, the Christian Boule people at the top. That's who it is. They set this system in order. That image showing Elijah Muhammad being pointed to, saying this man has messed up our plans. Why? Elijah Muhammad admitted that he was carrying on the works of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Mosiah God. He admitted it. Think, people. Now it has come back full circle. Now Islam is coming back into the hands of the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is why my phone goes off the hook all day, every day. This is why my email inbox stays blowing up. This is why people hit me on Facebook all day, every day. And guess what? This is why we're getting attacked by people like Shakka Ahmose, people like Sarah Sutanseti and Sarnetta and Reggie. They are inadvertently working for the top people that want to keep that number at 1%, because they know that whenever half of us wakes up in this nation, if 20 million of us accept the religion of our ancient forefathers, it's a wrap. It's over with. And this is all part of demonstrating this Jesus piece, because the ethnicity of Jesus is important. So now let us get into what Prophet Noble Drew Ali says in this regard. chapter 46 in our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, also called Circle 7 Quran, verses 1 through 2, the prophet states, the foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jesus of Nazareth, for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Let me pause for a minute there. Noble Drew Ali says that the church, the very first church, is the one that crucified Prophet Jesus of Nazareth, to whom we never call Christ. We call the Messiah, the prophet. This is a totally different narrative that we have in the Christian or biblical, whether you be Hebrew Israelite, school of thought. We teach that the church is the first. Think what I just said. The church is the people, is the group, the organization, the entity, the institution that crucified this man. Today, we are being crucified by the same exact people. Make no mistake about it, but we're going to get into that. He goes on to state in verse 2 that Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. So here, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is saying that Prophet Jesus was of the blood of the original Canaanites, the people that are the Moabites, who are more recently called Moors, and the inhabitants of Africa, the people that look just like us. So that changes the dynamic that Shakka tries to use, and those like him, to put us in a box with the European Jesus-loving individuals, because they believe that anything within the Bible originates with the Bible, which shows how utterly ignorant they are. Let's continue. In chapter 48, verse 6 through 8, Prophet Noble Drew Ali states, we as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations, as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. You see, Shakka read this, and he knew he had no way to deal with it and battle the notion that he wanted to display to you all, that we are somehow trapped in the same biblical box that those that adhere to the Christian text do. Because how can you say we adhere to something, but in the same text it says, therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations, as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. This man Shakka and Seti and Samnetta, all of those people, our enemies, Moors. We have to call it what it is. These people are our enemies. Make no mistake about it. They are trying every weak heart. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, watch your enemies, dear Moors. They are trying every weak mind. And if you want to know who the weak minds are, look in the comment section of these YouTube videos. Right now on the Facebook page, when Kalam posted the link advertising this event several hours ago, all you seen was thick hate. These weak-minded people that want to believe the nonsense that Shakka spews out of his mouth. But that stuff just got destroyed in the first 5 minutes of this presentation. Islam was not only a threat to European world domination, it was also a threat to the usurped identity and bloodline of Jesus, who is called Isa in Islam. This is why the ethnicity of Jesus and Muhammad is a hot button issue. In Mohammedanism, certain branches teach you can't make an image of Prophet Muhammad. Wesley Muhammad in his lecture, The End of Ghetto Scholarship, The Origins of Islam, of the debunking of Walter Williams, which I believe to be the most important lecture in the past 20, 30 years, shows and proves the true ethnicity not only of Prophet Muhammad, not only of Prophet Muhammad's family, but Prophet Muhammad's tribe and the other 12 tribes that represented that region of the Wadi Canania, also translated as the Valley of Canaan. Shout out to Sister Dana Marnishi for giving us that information. Oh, sister, let me plug Sister Dana Marnishi Reynolds in as well, because her works on the topic of the ethno-history of the Arabs and more, same people, is without second. Without second. And she's doing an event on October 29th in Philadelphia. People, go, if you're in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York region, get to this event. Hit me up on Facebook after this presentation is over. I'll share the link details with you. Go learn something. Stop listening to these liars that get on the House of Consciousness TV with their microwave TV dinner scholarship. Okay, now let's get into the ethnicity. Let's get into this line. Because Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches us that Jesus came from the true bloodline of the Canaanites and Moabites. This is Shem, according to the biblical narrative, according to the narrative that was copied into the Bible, not originates there. This comes from the Perka, a book written by Rabbi Eliza, or exegesis rather, a paper written by Rabbi Eliza in the 8th century CE, Christian era. It states, Noah brought his sons and his grandsons, and he blessed them with their several settlements. And he gave them as an inheritance all the earth. He especially blessed Shem and his sons, black but comely, and he gave them the inhabitable earth. He blessed Ham and his sons, black like a raven, and gave them as an inheritance the coast of the sea. Let's stop right there. Shem and Ham. These are old ethnic terminologies that was used in ancient days based on the region that these people came from. These names do not originate with the Bible. And it is ignorance for us to think that, because there are many people in the Bible that do not originate there. Tahaka, Shishak. I mean, I can name a few. Matter of fact, there's a webpage that shows the 1,000 real people, kings and other rulers mentioned in the Bible. So this notion that everybody that originates in the Bible, this is what these people use to draw you off of an intellectual center and keep you mired in mere atheistic ignorance. Now let's go to the next source. It says the children of, now this comes from Al-Tabari, a Persian scholar. None of these people that I'm citing are Moors, or what you would call black people. From his book, Tariq al-Rasul wa al-Muluk, meaning History of the Prophets and Kings, that was written in 915 AD. It says the children of Shem settled in the center of the earth, which is between Sadima and the sea and between Yemen and Syria. Allah made the prophets from them, revealed the books to them, made them beautiful, gave them a black complexion, and also gave them a black complexion with a light brownish undertone. The children of Ham settled in the south. Allah gave them a black complexion and gave some of them a black complexion with a light brownish undertone. So here we have this link between how these people looked, how the scholars that do not look like us saw them back in those days, beautiful, with our dark brown sable skins that they erroneously call black. Now I want to get into Ham, because Shakka claims Ham is some biblical BS. This is what he says, showing that he's no intellectual, that he's no scholar, that he just shows that he's an entertainer. I'm bored. I'm going to go in front of Canaanite TV and ruin some more people's minds with my own brand of nonsense. Now, here we go. This comes from a Bible dictionary that I have in my possession. Very rare. published between the years 66 and 77. There's no publishing date in it. So I had to go online to try to match up the actual definitions verbatim, and I was able to come up with the time frame of 1966 and 1977 as a publishing date, and it could even be earlier. It says for Ham, meaning warm, from the Egyptian Kim, dark, one of the sons of Noah. Now here he's giving you the biblical breakdown. Perhaps the third, if Japheth was the elder brother, settled in Africa. And it's giving you the Psalms, and I should have had this written out because I can't read Roman numerals off the top of the head. It says, and also sent many branches into Asia. And it has in parentheses, Canaanites. So now we start to get into the historical aspect, because that's what a Bible dictionary does. It gives you their biblical narrative and its breakdown. Then it gives you the history, if there's a history connected with that name or that people. It says, there is no ancient name so well preserved and located. Ham is identified with Jupiter Ammon and also Zeus, because both words are derived from a root meaning hot, fervent, or sunburnt.
Right.
For the last 3,000 years, the world has been mainly indebted for its advancement to the Semitic races. Now, when this article is speaking of Semitic races, it's not speaking of them in the way that those ancient scholars are speaking of them. We are witnessing the whitewashing of history over centuries. It says, but before this period, the descendants of Ham, meaning Egypt and Babylon, because this guy Shakka claims that we Moors got our fezzes from Assyria and Akkad. So what? These were our ancestors if we did. And they were recognized in the historical records as such. It says that they led the way as the pioneers in art, literature, and science. Mankind at the present day lies under infinite obligation to the genius and industry of those early ages, more especially for alphabetic writing, weaving cloth, architecture, astronomy, plastic art, sculpture, navigation, and art agriculture. The art of painting is also represented, and music indirectly by drawings of instruments. Where else do we find this description of a people at but in Moorish Spain?
Islam, or if I could interject real quick and just basically follow up on this definition, this Ham, this eponym, if you will. Look up the word eponym. And now, with that being said, the brother just covered the whole spectrum of those people in Asia as well as in Africa. And see, this is the problem that I have with a lot of those particular brothers. And it's really deceptive to the public. And, for young men and women out there who are trying to learn their history and who they are, where they fit at in the world, in the history of the world. And notice in that particular definition, it outlined Asia as well with the Canaanites in Babylon. So when you're dealing with Babylon, you're basically dealing with that whole entire area, including the area that they call Sumeria, which Shakka Ahmose said that this word Allah comes from. So basically what you have is these brothers, a lot of these brothers do not really believe in the efficacy of the Afro-Asiatic or Moorish race. They don't believe it. They just believe that it was a small number of these quote-unquote so-called black people, and we was just bottled up in Africa. I just want the general public just to think about what these brothers are saying. Even when these brothers come across and start talking about the Moors, no, they wasn't. They'll say that Moors betrayed the so-called black race, right? Isn't that what this brother's basic thesis was, Sheikh Whale, was that the Moors betrayed the black race?
That's right. Basically, that's what they all say.
But check this out. Look at the irony in it. Excuse me. Look at the irony in it. They'll come back around now. At first, they were saying the Moors betrayed the black race, quote unquote. Sharif put a nail in that. Then they turn around now all of a sudden with this recent episode that the brother that they call just went into. Now all of a sudden the Moors are not black; it was white Arabs. Y'all see how the irony in this? So what is it? Is they quote unquote so-called blacks, or were they white Arabs? What y'all gotta decide. So they just jumping around in scholarship in hopes of continuing this distraction from the Moorish movement because and don't get me wrong, the Moorish movement is having its issues with philosophically with Moors who believe that they have certain legal remedies. But at the end of the day, the Moorish movement is taking traction amongst a lot of our younger people, and a lot of these detractors do not like it. So they're sitting in the way of these people coming over to the Moorish Science Temple of America so we could begin to solve the problems of this race, but they are standing in the way as roadblocks, giving these people false information in regards to our stances of our race and how to solve the Negro problem. So, that's the whole thing. These people don't really believe that their people was so powerful that we not only inhabited Africa, but we inhabited Asia, Europe, Australia, North, South, Central America. They don't believe that because they really don't believe in the power of their own people. And that's the bottom line. So, and I'm going to say this whole Jesus thing that they keep accusing us. These people believe in Jesus. Blah, blah, blah. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. They now that being said, it was humble people who had adopted this faith, which was the faith of their ancestors anyway. It was in our questionnaire, Noble Drew Ali asked, what is our religion? It's Islamism. And he said, is that a new or is that an old-time religion? And the answer was old-time religion. Now remember, that is the name for all of those who are descendants of Africa, of Moroccans born in America. Those songs codified in secret the ancient traditions of Islam, because these people knew that where their ancestors come from, so they took the Christian songs and they codified in these so-called Negro spirituals or gospels. So why, listen to this, why would they cry in the song for give me that old time religion? Why would they ask for that old time religion when the slave master had already gave them Christianity? Because if he had given them Christianity, then that wasn't the old time religion. The people were saying that, give me that old time religion of Islam. And they were just like we codified certain escape paths inside of blankets and quilts for the Underground Railroad. And so we codified what was going on in the songs so the people who had oppressed us during those times would not know. So basically, this is what we're dealing with the historicity of Jesus. And I know my brother going to get into that. But this individual in ancient times was no different than any of the other liberators that came to liberate us from our history, because he read the chapter that Noble Drew Ali wrote in regard to this individual, would you call him Jesus or Yahshua, who stood up against the pale-skinned nations of Europe that was ruling the Afro-Asiatic area. So with that, I say peace.
Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for that, my brother. You know what? Wow, I've got some questions that are just flooding in right now. I'm definitely going to ask our brothers some questions pertaining to the presentation thus far. But before I do all of that, please, 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 I want you to hit the like button. I want you to hit the like button, because by hitting that like button, it lets us know here at Talk with the Titans that you love Talk with the Titans. You love Titans TV. You love the shows we put on with all these different great, lecturers, teachers, authors, etc. Let us know that you love the information. That's all I'm saying. Let us know you love the information. Let us know you love our Speaker's Corner information as well. We have some crazy debates going on. Muslims, Jews, Christians, atheists, chemists, Shemites, everybody gets into the mix. So if you haven't already checked out that playlist called Speakers Corner, please go. Actually, you might not even be subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and it should just take you to our homepage where we have all of our shows lined up for you. Hopefully, I can actually kind of give you a quick tour, real quickly, of the types of stuff we have on over here. I'm not too sure if any of you lot are subscribed who are watching right now, but if you aren't subscribed, here is some information on Talk with the Titans and Titans TV. Real quickly, let's see. Share screen is not coming up. Nope, it is coming up. Here we go. So let me know if you can actually see this in the next 2 seconds. You can see all of the shows that we do have on here on Titans TV. We've got conscious lectures, discussions, debates, and interviews. We try to do our shows every Wednesday, sometimes on the Thursdays as well. But we've had recent shows. Professor Griff has come on, Amon Ross Squad, Team Osiris, Brother Polite, ISUPK, Brother Sankofa, the Mossy Warrior Clan, Brother Garfield, Brother Zion Lex, Brother Ngozi. We had so many different people actually come onto our show and gave us some great information. We've also had great shows as well on Speaker's Corner, where we have loads of debates going on, atheists, Muslims, big names such as Dr. James White versus Adnan Rashid. We've had some great debates. So please check out these debates. If you love your religious information or religious debates, they are excellent for you as well. If you haven't also checked out our my own personal playlist, which is the Kalam playlist, I go into the 42 laws of Ma'at, reading straight from the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the hieroglyphs itself, having debates at Speaker's Corner, giving some information dedicated to my Muslim brothers, dedicated to my Kemetic brothers, dedicated to my Hebrew brothers, and so forth. So please check that out. Also check out the African history and philosophy section as well. So if you're new to Titans TV, please check out the great stuff that we do on here. Now, let me get straight back into the mix, because this is one of the questions that I see posted up so much on here, and that is the question. They want a simple yes or no. Do Moors love Jesus? Yes or no, and then expound a little bit further for those people who need to be needs to be clarified.
Yes, Moors love Jesus because we don't see Jesus in the same spectrum that the people that's asking the question see Jesus, which is from a Christian or Judeo-Christian perspective. I just read the sources. We see, and I got more in the next slide. We're going to start getting into some historical description. Yes, we love Jesus. Yes, that's a fact. That's a fact.
All right. I would like to say, to my answer to that question is also yes. Moors do love Jesus. And the bottom line is like asking me whether, I love Jesus is like saying, whether or not do I love Dr. King or the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey. It's basically the same point. And the brother just laid out the whole outline of the ethnicity of this man and the ethnicity of his bloodline. So he proved it, so it should be any issue there. And if anybody ever read and study the history of Jesus, you'll understand, like what we were saying, that this brother came to remove the iron hand of oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, who was ruling a portion of Palestine at that time. And that was our people. So that brother was our brother, and let's get into it. This whole thing is surrounded around Jesus, and I won't get into it. Probably get into some more on another show later. But the whole science of this thing is based upon Jesus. They stole it from your ancestors, and they co-opted the science to rule you.
All right, we're gonna get it in. We literally only got like 20 minutes left of this show, so please let's actually continue. Let's get it in with the presentation as well. I'm actually going to open up the lines. So if you check in the description box, there should be the link to the show. I'm going to post up the link to the show. So if you would like to come in and ask some questions live on air rather than typing it up, I'm actually going to post in the description box. It's going to be under a heading called panel link. So just scroll right to the bottom of our description box and you will see it says panel link. And that's exactly what button you need to click, or what link you have to click to come straight into us right now and actually have your say. All right. Brother Lord Abba, please continue with the presentation.
Okay, definitely. All right, let me pull my screen back up. All right, why is that blocked? All right, now we're going to get into some of the historical records about ethnicity. This is taken from Robert Eisler's book, The Messiah Jesus and John the Baptist, according to Flavius Josephus, recently discovered capture of Jerusalem and the other Jewish and Christian sources. Again, shout out to Brother Wesley Muhammad for pulling and putting this information together, because without it, we would, we would be flailing in the wind. And shout out to the European scholars who were able to dig this stuff up, because what we're about to read is an indictment on what they hold dear. It states, this is coming from Josephus. At that time, also, there appeared a certain man of magic power, if it be meet to call him a man, whose name is Jesus, whom certain Greeks call a son of God, but his disciples call the true prophet, who is supposed to have raised dead persons and to have cured all diseases. But his nature and his form were human, for he was a man of simple appearance, mature age, black skin, melachros, which is the Greek word, I'm guessing, for black skin, short growth, 3 cubits tall, hunched back, prognathous, literally meaning with a long face, a long nose, eyebrows meeting above the nose, that the spectators could take flight, with scanty, meaning curly hair, but having a line in the middle of his head after the fashion of the Nazarenes, with an undeveloped beard. The picture you see on the screen is one of the oldest known images of ancient Jesus, of prophet Jesus, excuse me. It was found in the Acropolium in St. Domitilia in the catacombs of Rome. Experts have dated, and forgive me for not having my source on this image, never without my sources. I just forgot, there's another image on here I forgot to put my source on, and that's the Canaan piece if we get to that. But the expert who analyzed this particular fresco, and you can look this up for yourself so you can know, I'm not pulling your leg, I have no interest in pulling your legs at all, says that this particular piece dates back to the 2nd to 4th century BCE. Now, for those of you that say Jesus wasn't real because there's no proof, there's no proof. For those of you, no bones, etc., etc. For those of you that look at this time frame based on 1 AD, well, didn't Jesus live, around 1 AD, and he must have died 33 AD? This is not what some of the scholars are saying. And my brother Grim could speak to that, Grim Yarnell could speak to that as well. Gerald Massey spoke to this. Also, now I want you all to think, people. These people, these Europeans, they had to, I hear an echo. Somebody mute out? I can't see who it is that's unmuted.
Okay. Please keep your mics muted at all times unless you've been called in to speak.
Now, I can't get why you don't understand this Jesus issue. Unc has this brother on his show called Shabbat. I'm assuming he's a 5%. There were several 5%ers in that group, but Prophet Jesus is mentioned in their lessons. And it states that his practice or his teachings wasn't Christianity at all. It was freedom, justice, and equality. These same people, these Europeans, had a vested interest in burying the true identity of this man and getting us to worship what Revelation calls their own book, the image of the beast. And if you read works like Manly P. Hall's Secret Teachings of All Ages, it states that the New Testament compilers intentionally put the book of Revelations in to spite the stories that was misrepresented in the canonical Gospels. They say that this story was misrepresented, and this is why the book of Revelation, the true revelation of Prophet Jesus, the only true book of Prophet Jesus, according to some biblical experts or biblical scholars, in that whole Bible. These are the same people that made this man a European when he couldn't possibly have been a European based on where he was born. This is something that we all know and have all heard. But we have to also remember, these are the same people that changed time. They got us believing that a new day starts at midnight. Walk with me for a minute, people. They have us believing that a new day starts at midnight, not the next day when the sun arises. They have us believing that September is the 9th month, while sept, S-E-P-T, as in septuplets or septagram or septenary, means 7. They have us believing that October is the 10th month, while oct only means 8, as in an octagon, a shape bearing 8 sides. They have us believing that November is the 11th month. Nov means 9, novena or novenary. This means 9. They have us believing, these people have us believing that December is the 12th month, when DEC, dec, references 10, as in decade, which spans for 10 years, or a decalathon, I believe I'm saying that correct. The Olympic sport, which entails 10 specific sports. Like, these people have changed up time. They inserted their Roman gods and emperors into their calendar. That's called the Julian and Gregorian calendar. June comes from Junus, a Roman god. Julius, July, a Roman emperor. August from Augustus. Where do these people fit into the scheme of our time frame? These same people that have manipulated time has usurped one of the greatest men to walk this planet. And now we are following behind some Europeans that state that Prophet Jesus never existed. You're not going to find this individual, quote unquote, black or African thought that states that Jesus didn't exist. This is being copied from these European atheists that you all are following. You love following this European and then making the claim that we are somehow following him. Shem, Ham, Cush, these eponymous characters, these are early ethnic designations for the Moors and Arabia. The Arabian ethno-history proves that the ethno-history of Prophet Muhammad and his tribe were Moors, so-called black people. I mean, we have all of this proof. I've cited this particular book reference before, History of the Moors, that was written in 1841 by an author named Florian, pages 19 through 20. It says, and speaks about, in addition to this, the historians of remote ages speaks of a Malik Yafrit, king of Arabia Felix, who conducted a people called Sabai into Libya. Remember, Libya, right, is a later name for Africa. Libya is named after a king of or emperor, of ancient Mauritania named Libs. The Hellenistic or Greek writers named him named the country Libya after him, because this is what men did in those times. They called land masses after people, eponymous terms. Look that up. Libya comes from an ancient emperor that ruled over all of Mauritania by the name of Libs. It says that this Malik Yafrik made himself a master of that portion of what we know of Africa and gave it his name. This is where we get the name Africa from. King Yafrik, this Moor this Arabian, the original Arabian, this pure Arab from Arabia. It goes on to state in closing of this particular excerpt that it says that, let it suffice to say that there are nearly certain grounds exist for the belief that the original Moors were Arabians. We have so many sources to back this up, and I know we couldn't cram it all in and do it the way we wanted to do it. This is not our show, and we have to respect the time constraints. But Nature Knows No Color Line, J.A. Rogers, published in 1952, third edition, page 57, it states, many American Negroes are indistinguishable from Arabs. The New York Times, February 2nd, 1945, reports of the meeting between President Roosevelt and King Ibn Saud. This is the man that's in our Moorish Holy Quran on the fourth page, on the second page, that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is calling a descendant of Hagar. The people Hagar. He was using the terminology that we were familiar with, that the historians are familiar with, because that's what a historian does. It goes on to state from this article, this New York Times article, that it was a matter of considerable astonishment of the king's servants to discover American Negro cooks and mess boys. And it was more than difficult to persuade them that these were not also Arabs. The matter was never entirely cleared up. So now you have this group of people that look like the modern day Arabians standing in the White House, people, arguing with the staff that these so-called Negro cooks, dishwashers, and mess boys, these servants, are not Arabians. They're arguing with the people. This is reported by the New York Times. Come on. These are the historical records. References for anybody new to this platform. Black Arabia, a book by Dr. Wesley Muhammad. Excellent resource. You can get it on Kindle. Save the True Arab by Tariq Berry. SaveTheTrueArabs.blogspot.com. Sister Dana Reynolds Marnichi. Afroasiatic.blogspot.com. We give a plethora of information. Just like in Morocco, the Moors were pushed out. Just like in Arabia, the Moors were pushed out. We were always getting pushed out. All of these other people came and dominated us. And this is why we believe that Islam is their religion and not our religion. This is why. When the Moors were driven out of Spain, and this is what the historical records state, according to the history of the conquest of Spain by the Arab Moors, by a man named Henry Copy, it says when the Moors were driven out, thousands took refuge in the south of France, who, abhorring the Roman Catholic persecutions, became Huguenots, and that of these many immigrated at a later date to South Carolina. I have so many references that I have produced about the early Moors here in America. These people who descend from ancient Canaan. I'm not going to be able to get into all of my sources, but I want you all to know, in the time that I have, we're going to dig into this Canaanite thing, because these people like who know I've roasted on this particular topic, cooked them. He knows that he cannot and will not face me on this issue of the Canaanites, because it doesn't say
Islam. I just wanted to interject once again.
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. I just wanted to interject real quick, and I just wanted to appeal to the audience that's watching it right now. I just want to ask the question to you all: what is wrong with what Sheikh Wayel is saying right now?
Put it in the chat.
You may have a difference of history or a difference in certain aspects of the history, but it's nothing wrong with what this brother is saying. Why this information is fulfilling, is great, is edifying to the history of our people. It is something to consider. So my appeal to you all is, why do you hate this brother so much? Why do you castigate and mock this brother so much? He's not trying to give you any quote-unquote so-called European gods. He is tying all the history back into you. You don't have to agree with all of it, but why you have to disagree to the effect that you have to try to castigate him and us as some type of enemies to our race? So with that, I say peace.
Yeah,
Islam,
I mean, I
Islam.
hope they come on. I hope they come in the chat.
That's
Now,
right. That's right. Hold
Brother
on.
Kalam,
One second, my brother. 1 second. I just want to let everybody else know as well. If you would like to actually ask my brother Lord Abba any questions live on air right now, the link is in the description box down below. Let me just bring it up real quickly so everybody can actually see it. I'm sharing my entire screen right now. Yeah, everybody can see that. So if we go straight down as well, if you would like to support all the good stuff that we're doing here on Talk with the Titans, on Titans TV, you can literally go to our GoFundMe, which is GoFundMe at Titans TV. We keep on going down. Subscribe to Titans TV. Our schedule in terms of shows going on, Talk with the Titans, trending topics, and Speakers Corner stuff. Keep on going further down. We see our socials. If you want to have any sponsorship and advertising inquiries as well, you can just click here or simply email me on my email address. But here we go, right down here. This is the panel link right here. All you have to do is click on this panel link and it will take you directly into the live chat if you actually have Hangouts on your computer system or on your phone itself. You can come in right now and ask the brother any questions. I believe we have a brother called Atum here. Atum, are you coming in based upon the fact that you've clicked the link to join this Hangout? No, you're coming on because you've been invited on by Sheikh Wayel, Lord Abba.
who is that?
We've got a brother called Atum who is here. Peace, King. If you unmute your mic, please unmute your mic, if you can.
Oh no, I didn't invite him.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that brother has nothing to say. I would like to finish my presentation though. Can you see the screen? Yes. Which screen are you looking at? There should be a European man up on the screen. Or when I just click on the Hangout screen, I'm still stuck at an old slide that I did. Which slide are you looking at, Brother Kalam?
Yep, we're on the old one on Josephus Flavius. Josephus, he's talking about the black-skinned Jesus.
All right, I don't know why.
Now we're on the white man.
Okay. We're gonna try to run through this real quick. This is Alexander H. Stevens, Vice President of the Confederacy. This is a European man. Remember, we were stripped of our knowledge, stripped of our language. We were stripped of our link and our connection to our ancestry. Now, this man right here wrote a speech, South Carolina. I believe this was a part of this secession speech because the South wanted to keep our people as slaves. And the North had been freed the slaves. This is another topic that we need to get into. We are like polymaths more. We're not just stuck on one subject. We can go there on any topic. To some degree, there's a group of us that can go there on any topic, from American history to current day politics to ancient history. And we're going to show and prove, because that's just what we do. Now, there's an article. Somebody is unmuted, Kalam. I can't see it.
Okay, so we've got a few new people that's joining us right now.
Okay, definitely.
I'm going to say peace to them and let them mute their mics afterwards. So we've got Brother Hotep, who's just joined us right now. Peace to you, King. Peace, 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 please. I'm just going to mute your mic. Oh, your mic's already muted. We've got Brother King Oda. Peace, peace, peace to you, King. Peace. Okay, just keep your mic muted since you're tuned in. All right. Brother Lord Abba, please continue.
Yes. Now, this is what this man said in his speech, in his secession speech. This is it for their fight to keep us enslaved. He said, with us, all of the white race, however, high or low, rich or poor, are equal in the eye of the Lord. Not so with the Negro. Subordination is his place. He by nature, or by the curse against Canaan, is fitted for that condition which he occupies in our system. The biblical narrative, Genesis 9 through 25, and chapter 9, verses 25 through 27, says, "Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." So when Prophet Noble Drew Ali is saying that the Moors are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, who were the first inhabitants of Africa, meaning not saying that these are the first people that grew up out of the earth in Africa or evolved from monkeys like Ankh and the rest of these guys erroneously believe. It says they are the first, because to inhabit means to occupy, to colonize. They are the first ones to come back and set up and establish colonies and civilizations there from the ancient land of Canaan. And this is why we have to give the Europeans back their Bible. That's not our book. Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. On this show before, I showed where the historical records show that the Moors inscribed on 2 white columns in North Africa after being pushed out of Canaan by one of the people that did exist in those ancient times, that's copied into the Bible by the name of Joshua, real name O'Shea. It said, "We, the Moors, the Canaanites, have fled before the face of Joshua, the robber son of Nun." These are the historical records. You can't deny it. These are the people that are called Moors or Berbers. And the Negro Law of South Carolina, Chapter 1, the status and the right of the Negro, his rights and disabilities, it states that the term Negro is confined to slave Africans, the ancient Berbers, and their descendants. I hope these records are coming up on the screen so that people can see this stuff. They knew exactly who we was. And the Egyptian hieroglyphs, and this is where I apologized early because I didn't put my other source. I just moved in my new place and I didn't unpack all of my books, so I couldn't dig for my Wallace Budge's Egyptian dictionary. But here he cites the translation of a man named Anastasi that shows Canaan in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. And we find Canaan all throughout the tablets of the ancient East. We find them all throughout the tablets, the Amana letters. We find them, so it's not a biblical thing. You people are just trapped in the Bible. So let's get into some history now. And Kalam, I'm going to read these next few on Canaan, and we can open it up from there.
Thank you.
This is from Francois Lenormand, French archaeologist and scholar from the early 19th century. He states, "We may perceive in all the remembrance of a powerful empire founded by Cushites at very early ages, we find traces of a wealthy nation, constructors of great buildings with an advanced civilization like that of Chaldea. This must be true as everywhere we find traces of Cushites in Arabian literature and their brothers, the Canaanite." Again, Dana Marnici, Afroasiatic.blogspot.com. She has 3 specific blogs called Ancient Canaanites in Their Land. Why listen to these people like that don't know what they're talking about? They're citing one-sided information that comes from European polemics against Islam and those that do not want to reveal the true identity of the people of Canaan. But it's too late because in the American historical records, we find this. Now, this is coming from an 1816 encyclopedia called the Encyclopedia Perthensis, page 69. It states, in St. Athanasius' time, the Africans still said they were descendants from the Canaanites. And it is said that the Punic tongue was almost entirely the same with the Canaanitish and Hebrew languages. Here's another one. Now, this one comes from the etymologies of Isidore of Seville. So now we're going back to records from the 13th century. This is from Isidore of Seville. Anybody can just pause for a minute and look this man up. Isidore of Seville. He wrote several different values, right? This is the 2006 translation written by Stephen Barney, W.J. Lewis, J.A. Beach, Oliver Berghoff, page 193. And it reads, there were 4 sons of Ham who sprang the following nations. Cush, from whom the Ethiopians were begotten. Misraim, or Egypt, from whom the Egyptians are said to have risen. Put, from whom the Libyans, whence the river of Mauritania is called Put, still today. Meaning in that day, there was a river in ancient Mauritania called Put. It goes on, and the whole region around it is called Pothinsis. Finally, Canaan, from whom descended the Africans and the Phoenicians and the 10 tribes of Canaanites. Let's get into another source. This is taken from the French translation of the Akbar al-Zaman of the 11th century. I should have wrote the translation of what that book Akbar al-Zaman means. My bad. It says, among the descendants of Sudan, son of Canaan, are many nations, among them the Ishban, the Zanj, and many peoples that multiplied in the Maghrib, about 70 of them. They differ in their customs and have kings. Okay, let's get into another one. These are the historical records. According to Clapperton, the Benin people are descendants of the Yoruba tribes. The Yoruba tribes being descended from 6 brothers, all sons of one mother. Their names were Ikelu, Egba, Ejube, Ife, Ingli, meaning Benin, and Yoruba. According to the late Sultan Bello, the Fula chief of Sokoto at the time of Clapperton's visit to that city, the Yoruba tribes are descended from the children of Canaan, who are of the tribe of Nimrod. This book is called West African Studies by Mary Henrietta Kingsley and Charles Napoleon Carty. John Harford, published in 1899. I mean, we have so many records. This comes from Dr. Wesley Muhammad's paper. Ife and Islam as sibling rivals, the Black Arabian origins of the Yoruba. Pages 16 through 17. Published November 4, 2013. It says, according to Baya Jida tradition, the Yoruba and the Hausa share a paternal grandfather. This is consistent with the claim made in Yoruban and Borgolan tradition. That grandfather is none other than Namudu/Lamurudu, who is shared not only by the Yoruba and Borgu traditions, but by the Hausa as well. During the annual Gani festival of Dora, which according to Dirk Lane is a royal reenactment of the Bayajida legend, the king is followed in procession by drummers who drum special beats, signifying the words Lamarudu, son of Canaan. Now, Shaka, and cut me off, brother Kalam. I just want to get into this last part right here. Matter of fact, we can end it here. He cites Oxford. He cited Oxford, you know, giving prestige and honors as you should. Oxford is a prestigious university. But let's get into this. Oxford University, they put out on their page, on their website, the complex genetic ancestry of Americans uncovered. It says that the ancestors of current-day Yoruba people from West Africa, one of the largest African ethnic groups, provide the largest contribution of genes from Africa to all current-day American populations. There's another, you know, of course we do cross-reference. We don't stick to one source, we cross-references. This is why you see me cite several different sources about the same thing. Tracing African Roots. This comes from tracingafricanroots.wordpress.com. Exploring the ethnic origins of the Afro diaspora. On that website, it notes that 63% of the DNA of us in America, also called African Americans, 63% of our DNA stems from the Yoruba. In the Yoruba tradition, they have a tradition that they traveled and settled in that portion of West Africa. that they traveled from Arabia. Arabia is nothing more than a part of the ancient expanse of Canaan. And then that tradition, they call their gods the white gods. And we have this, the Arthur Hall Ile Ife collection by this man who was an Ife priest. I hope y'all seeing this stuff on the screen right now. And I really do. The
We're
link is
seeing
right
it.
there.
We're seeing
See
it.
it?
But Lord Abba, you know, we're running out of time. We're
Okay,
literally going to
let's go, brother.
Okay. So, you know what, real quickly, because we've literally run out of time for the show right now. I just want to bring something up that's come to my attention. One of the brothers has actually messaged me, and it's quite shocking. I'm actually going to say it is very shocking right now to see this particular information. My brother by the name of Abu Zubair. He's messaged me on Facebook to literally say that he actually contacted Stephanie Daly in connection to the Muzi text that was referenced by Shakka Ahmose. And he messaged her and says, "Hi, I'm sorry to have to bother you, but I was wondering if you could help me with something. I've recently come across someone who's using your work to say that the Sumerian god Allah or Allah is the same as the Arabian Allah. Can you please let me know whether you've drawn the same conclusion? If so or not, can you please provide the reason why or point me in the right direction? Your help would be very much appreciated. Thank you." And her response to this particular message was this. Stephanie Daly: "I have never made such a suggestion. I repeat, I have never made such a suggestion." And this is by Stephanie Daly, the Assyriologist of Oriental Institute and Wolfson College, Honorary Senior Research Fellow, Somerville College, University of Oxford. And if you would like to cross-reference this information, her email address, this is what Talk with the Titans is all about. We have a particular quote that we use in Speaker's Corner. If you are truthful, provide your evidence thereof. So here is the evidence by brother Abu Zubair, and this is the email address, which is stephanie.daly@orinst.ox.ac.uk. So you can actually cross-reference this and actually ask her the same question to see whether, you know, Shakka is making up claims or whether he was on the right path or not by quoting this particular author. So I'd like to give thanks to the brother Abu Zubair for actually bringing this up. This is very good and critical information. This is what I love here on Talk with the Titans. It's not simply a one-way stream where our Titans simply present or talk to you. It gives a chance for our audience members, our Titans, to actually intervene and can actually provide evidence, provide references, could actually refute or rebuttal our Titans when they actually do present. So it's an equal opportunity where everybody can actually get involved and feel as though they are involved. So I'd like to thank my audience members for being proactive and actually doing the research and giving us the information. Again, I'm actually extending that invite to Brother Shakka Ahmose to come onto the show to clear up any misinformation that he may feel has been presented on this particular show. In regards to Brother Lord Abba's presentation, it's been an absolutely wonderful presentation, to say the least. Please, I'm actually going to implore everybody to actually go back, check the references. Like, you don't just watch this and just fall asleep to it. No, I want you to go back, get your pen, get your pads, write down every single reference, every single source, do the research yourself.
Look, Kalam, I'll email them the PDF, lordabba@gmail.com. I'll email it to you. I mean the PowerPoint.
There you go. So if you want to have the PowerPoint presentation, he will email it to you. And of course, if you simply go to Talk with the Titans Facebook group page, okay, all the links are actually down below in the description box. Just simply go down there, go to the Facebook group page, and I'm pretty sure, Lord Abba, you can upload it on there as a file to be downloaded on Facebook under the Talk with the Titans group page. or simply message Lord Abba on Facebook or message him via email for the further information that you're looking for. I definitely want to see a response and a response from Brother Shakka Ahmose in regards to your presentation. I think that would be quite interesting and informative, to say the least. I've heard him call you out several times on Sunday TV. So hopefully after this presentation, we can actually get a sit down and hear both sides of the argument presented live on air. Before we close out, though, I would like to just give an opportunity to the panel members who didn't actually get a chance to actually speak right now before Lord Abba closes off and actually provides any more information he would like to. So starting from my left, I got Brother Atum Amun. If you would like to say any last choice words, please do right now. If not, just keep your mic muted and we'll keep it flowing. We've got Brother Terry from HKTH. If you would like to say anything, please unmute your mic.
Can you hear me, Kalam?
Yes, I can hear you, my brother.
I just wanted to ask one question, is that what does he know of what the Europeans called black people in the 14 and 1500s?
I mean, the predominant term for our people was Moor during that time. I show references to the wars of Justinian. These are the Roman wars that was going on well before this particular time frame. I can't think of the time frame at the moment. And we have in these records where Moors are referencing themselves as Moors. This isn't just this small group. This is people that represent a great expanse of Africa. And they reference themselves in correspondence with the Romans as Moors. This is called the Wars of Justinian. I believe it's volume 2. I can get that quote for you, and I can post it and talk with the Titans if you're in that group.
Yeah, so you would say any black person that came to Europe will be classed as a Moor?
Well, yeah, because it was the name that they knew from time immemorial. When you look up the name, and Kalam, I want you to get on this as well, beloved, because this is something that me and my brother pulled up, and we just can't find a reference anymore. The name Mauritania, there was an Islamic Arabic scholar who noted that this word Tania didn't mean land of. There's no reference, there's no Greek reference to this Tania meaning land of. She posited that it may have come from an earlier source. If my memory serves me correctly, was it Nabatean maybe? I believe it was Nabatean. But she posited that Mauritania meant second home of the Moors, that Tania is Thania. And Thania means second in the Arabic. And if you look it up, if you go to Google Translate and you punch in, and I'm speaking to your point, brother. I don't want you to think I went somewhere else. If you look up at Google Translate and you punch in Moors, what was it, man? How did we do that? I think Moor second or something to that effect. It says it, Mauritania. It literally says Mauritania. I may be forgetting the second word, the second aspect of that word, but at first in the Google Translate, when you punched it in Mauritania, that's what it broke down to. It broke down Moor second. And this woman had noted that this meant the second home of the Moors because of the Arabic word second, meaning Thania. That this word Tania is not a Greek word. So this would have been a name that the Greeks had encountered when they met these people, because we had empires. We were not just these loose bands of spear chuckers, as a lot of people would lead us to believe. We had well-formed and well-rounded empires that it consisted of many different kingdoms. So it's not that they called us that. It is that we recognize ourselves as that. But because we don't have many records in that regard, and all we have is the Europeans writing about us, it appears that they are the ones calling us Moors.
So
In the
then,
etymology, it says it may as well be from the people's name in the reverse. Why? Because you got to go back to all of these old sources, like Strabo, excuse me, like Justinian, where these Moors, these letters, these Moors are referencing themselves as Moors in the letters.
mhm.
They're
so the,
referencing
Okay.
themselves in that.
so just one quick
Okay, no, no,
question.
no, 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 Terry,
Mhm.
brother Terry.
Okay,
All those questions could come on off air. Right now, we
okay,
actually have to close down and
okay.
actually close down the show right now. So I'm gonna hand it over to brother Lord Abba to actually give us the last words. Hopefully, we can actually do a part 2 to this and give
Definitely,
some
definitely.
information on another show. But right now, we actually have to close down this particular show right now. So, any last words you would like to give our audience?
Definitely. First, I want to say honors to you, beloved, for having me on to come and refute this slanderer, Shakka Ahmose, and shout out other slanderers like Ankh, these people that are doing absolutely nothing for our community. Sanetta, yo, you need to stop it, beloved. Y'all not gonna win. Information wise, y'all can't win. Only thing you can do is out entertain us. That's it. Stack the audience, stack the deck, and out entertain. When it comes to the scholarship, you're not going to defeat the Moors. You're not going to defeat us on Islam. You're not going to defeat us on our Moorish history. We have the records. Y'all have an audience, a broad audience, because people do not want to believe in anything. They are the very definition of nihilists that I read in the beginning. These people that have no hope for a future. These people that are pessimistic. These people that do not want to believe in anything. These people who are ignoble and of an immoral character. Listen to the way Shaka speaks. All of the curse words and the references to fellatio of another man's genitalia. That is not intellectualism, beloved. That is buffoonery and foolishness, the type of stuff that is setting us back 50 to 60 years. We here. We're not going to debate you in YouTube comment section. We're not going to keep debating you in comment sections on Facebook. Step up. Start writing papers. Start producing papers. Publish those papers on academia.edu and watch the swiftness in which we respond. Where there's not going to be too many more of these videos right here where we keep responding to you guys. You people are lame. You have no plan for our people, while the Moorish Science Temple of America has a proven plan. And y'all are trying to keep people away because you just want them just as miserable as you are in your nothingness, because misery loves company, but success leaves clues. And for all of you that's linking, that want to do something, if you want to do something great for our people, you may not believe it first, but we got the records to prove. I will step by step walk you through everything without once ever trying to lead your mind anywhere. I will give you the research so that you can see for yourself and fall back, and you come to me and let me know after your cross-referencing if it's right or if it's wrong. And that's all I really have to say. Shout out to my Moor.
Islam, Islam, Islam to you. Hey, listen, okay. For everybody who's actually seen the show so far, please give us a big thumbs up. Let us know that you enjoy watching the show. You learned something new. You're gonna actually take away, reference and sources, and actually do your research as well, and simply not believe what our brother is saying or what other brothers are saying, but you actually cross-reference everybody, check up everybody, and make sure you keep your critical and analytical mind working at all times. One more thing, actually, we're going to have some special guests coming in throughout this week, next week, and upcoming weeks as well. You know what? Right now, we're actually going through a confirmation. You know what? Brother Umar Johnson has actually hit me up, so we should be seeing Brother Umar Johnson on the show very soon. You know, we've got other great lecturers actually going to be popping in as well. We're going to get some, musicians, celebrity musicians on the show soon, and we're also going to get a lot of authors coming through as well. So please, please, please support Titans TV. You know what? Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Share this link with everybody. Share this channel with everybody. Let everybody know about Titans TV. Help us to grow, because the bigger we can grow, the bigger things that we can actually do, the better you know, caliber of guests we can actually get coming onto the show for you guys as well. So please, please, please hit the subscribe button, share this with everybody, and you know, definitely we need to get a part 2 to this. I definitely want to hear my brother Shakka Ahmose's response to this particular rebuttal by our Moorish brothers. And my brother Lord Abba, I think he's done a tremendous, excellent, extraordinary job, and I have to give him a big round of applause and say, you know what, right now I'm in heaven. I'm never going to lie to you. I don't know if everybody else is feeling like me, because I'm in heaven now, because I'm just going to be going back this Josephus quote about Jesus being a dark-skinned man. This is a very, Josephus is writing literally first century, turn of the first century, second century, second century, first century. You know, 98, I believe it was 98 AD. At that period of time he was writing. So this is a very, very early documentation in terms of the Jesus story. So I need to actually go back and cross-reference this and actually check the sources myself. So this is really exciting times. I don't know if anybody feels the way I feel, but it's exciting times to actually see this type of information. It's exciting times to see you know, quotes written by Tabari talking about the ancient you know, ancient people of Arabia, ancient people of Assyria, ancient people of Syria, of Jerusalem, all the way down to Yemen, being dark-skinned black people, all the prophets, for those people who come from a Hebraic perspective, even your Arabic cousins, or yeah, your Arabic cousins. Well, actually, Tabari was Persian, I believe. But, you know, you have these people writing about these dark-skinned black people who were supposedly the prophets and messengers of old times, being dark-skinned black people. You know what? There's so many quotes and references my brother did drop. So please, 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 if you feel like I did, please check up the sources. Go write down, you know, the timestamps and actually check it out. And I want to hear your responses to actually Lord Abba's rebuttal of Shakka Ahmose. So if you would like to give a response to Lord Abba, please post up some videos on YouTube, tag me in it. Post up on Facebook, tag me in it as well, because I definitely want to hear what our brothers have to say. And if you would like to join the after show, because we're going to keep this link running. We're going to keep this link running for a day or so. So if you'd like to join us, please hit the link down below to join us and have your say with Lord Abba or with the rest of the brothers who are on the panel right now, and have a discussion about this show and Shakka Ahmose's claims. So yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to sign out right now. And yeah, peace and black power to everybody out there, or peace and love and Moorish power to everybody out there. Islam, Islam, Moors, Islam.